The casino industry in South Africa is facing a myriad of threats, from the rise of illegal online gambling to the mushrooming of illegal gambling sites, especially those that are disguised as internet cafes. There's prosecution, but is there enough prosecution of illegal gambling? And there's also a confidence issue when it comes to gambling. There's declining revenue, 65,000 direct jobs could be at stake. At least that's the assertion being made by the casino industry. Advocate Themba Ngobese is the chief executive of the Casino Association of South Africa. We look at this big issue in the world of casinos. How many legal, registered, licensed casino operators do we have in South Africa?
In terms of operators, we would have 6, 3 very small ones, but you have the big ones being Piermont, Sun International, Tsoho and Emerald in the Vaal.
Okay.
There's 2 other smaller, much smaller operators in the Appington. Sorry, one in Appington and one in Kuruman in the Northern Cape.
Okay, so 6 licensed operators of casinos. How many casinos do we have, legal places to lose your money, to play a game?
Legal casinos, we've got now 37 that are operational, licensed and operational. 3 have not been issued.
Okay, do we have illegal gambling dens? There have to be.
Huge. It's a big, massive headache all over the country. It doesn't really matter where you are. But the biggest ones is really what we call, they disguise them as internet cafes or entertainment lounges. But what it is really, it's a place where they facilitate online illegal gambling. Okay,
we'll talk about the online side of it in just a moment. Where are these entertainment lounges? What sort of places are they located in?
It's all over the country, mostly in shopping complexes. It's not really malls, because you wouldn't have one, for example, in Sandton City, but it's smaller shopping complexes, smaller properties of people where these things are operated. And obviously, what always gives them out is the fact that they will have dark windows, and they are called internet cafes or entertainment lounges, and access is very restricted. So you can't just walk in. In a normal internet cafe, you just walk in and you print your CV. On these, you go through some process of accreditation of sorts.
Okay, so would they need an ID book from you so they know who you are, that sort of thing? So
they would do some investigation of sorts, as informal as it may be, but it's either you need to be referred by a friend, or you just need to look right for them to allow it.
Okay, so you need to look like you've got money to lose.
I'm not sure about that aspect.
You know where they are.
We know quite a lot of them now.
So why are they still operational? We've got a police service that could go in and shut them down. If they're illegal, they're operating in contravention of the Gambling Act, aren't they?
It's the same frustration that we have. In fact, they shouldn't be existing at all, because the laws are very clear on this. But unfortunately, in terms of police action, has not been as what it should be, to be honest with you.
Has any one of these illicit gambling dens been shut down in the last, I don't know, 5 years? Does it happen ever?
Yes, we've always complained and laid complaints with the provincial gambling regulators and the police, and the action has been very slow. This is what prompted us to launch a campaign in December to actually highlight this particular problem. And since our campaign launched, we've had 3 that have been shut down. Obviously, we've been involved in those. 2 in Krugersdorp and 1 recently in Modimolle in Limpopo.
No, you can shut down the physical space.
Yes.
It doesn't stop the physical space popping up somewhere else. When somebody's gone out on bail, or somebody's friend, brother or cousin or business partner goes and opens another site, because this is all online-based gambling.
That's certainly the issue.
And you can't close down the online gambling sites because they're domiciled elsewhere. Can you get them blocked at all?
That's true. I think what you could do, and which is what we've actually raised with the Minister of Trade and Industry, the Honourable Dr. Rob Davis, was that one of the very critical things that could be do in terms of enforcement is blocking credit card transactions. Because without those, there's a fair amount of business that cannot take place. Certainly, it still doesn't stop your cash business from going through.
There was, we had pixpeak online, and there were a couple, and there was a listed company a couple of years ago that did online gaming, and it was perfectly legal. Online gaming for South African-based individuals was then banned, and I think pixpeak online has probably been shut down, and others have been shut down. Where are these sites domiciled?
Just for factually, it has never been legal.
So it was never legal.
Correct.
So those guys were operating illegally.
Correct. What happened is that we always knew that the law was very clear, but obviously they took it to court. It's a court method that ran for a couple of years, I think 5 or 6 years, and during that time they were operating and all out. But obviously since in 2011, pixpeak as an operator, shut down the online business because of the court decision in the Supreme Court of Appeal. Others, quite a few others stopped, but it hasn't stopped everyone. Others are continuing.
Now, I can come into a Tsogo Sun Casino, into a Sun International Casino, and I can take my $100 and I can put it on red or black or whatever you do in a casino. I take my chances. I go into one of these unlicensed casinos and I put my money on red or black. I'm breaking a law?
Yes, you certainly are.
How do I know that I'm breaking the law? I mean, this is a casino operating in a shopping centre in the public domain. Could I be prosecuted for that?
So certainly, I think that's why we actually realized that people don't know that it's illegal, and which is why quite a few of the people were playing, because they really honestly didn't know that it's not allowed to do. That's why we launched this public awareness campaign, so that when enforcement does happen, nobody can say,
it's not going to happen.
No.
You just said so. I mean, you say it's slow and it doesn't happen, and these guys operate with impunity.
Well, it has started. Certainly, I've indicated the 3 that we've started with. And if what has been said by the Minister of Trade and Industry is anything to go by, the National Gambling Board is being reconstituted, and one of the main things that they want to do is to capacitate it to be able to properly enforce the laws.
Okay, so there is action coming. What is the consequence of inaction? I mean, the casino industry is very big on talking its book and saying, you know, we need a regulated industry because this is the great employer, this is the great taxpayer. That's the PR side of it. Yes. What's the reality? What happens if these illegal gambling places persist?
Certainly, what you do have is you start risking all the benefits that you actually derive from this industry. People do not know a few things that this industry contributes. So, for example, one of the biggest problems that this country has is jobs. And as you indicated, we employ in excess of 64,000 people directly. We haven't counted the indirect ones. Now, every job that you lose of that, which is possible, is one job too many. For example, if as revenues go down, like any business, you start looking at how you do things and whether you can do them better with less.
Isn't this just an industry looking to protect itself? You're looking to the DTI to protect you in the same way as they protected the chicken industry. What happened to chicken prices? Chicken prices went up 20%. Do we not need a more liberal licensing regime?
No, not
so we don't have a cluster of 6 operators having a virtual monopoly on people's bad habits.
Can I actually just clarify that once and for all? We are not anti-competition. We're not afraid of competition. We actually not opposed to online gambling being legalized. We're just simply saying at this stage, government has decided, and it seems that they are determined to keep it illegal. And if it's illegal, we're saying enforce the laws. Otherwise, your other option is to legalize and properly regulate it. So it's not like we're saying we should never ever have online gambling in this country. At the moment, all we're saying is it's illegal and it shouldn't be happening. And quite honestly, in any free economy, you should not be competing with illegal operators.
There's a lot of stuff in South Africa that's illegal there. Yes. I mean, yeah, and that's the trouble. Where does the DTI, where does it pick a fight first? You're wanting it to pick a fight first amongst gamblers who are not licensed.
Certainly, government not only has a moral obligation, they have a legal obligation to make sure that the laws are enforced. They set out a framework in terms of which we are going to operate. If we didn't have to be licensed, etc., we probably would not have also applied for licenses. But we have to be licensed, go through certain processes, do investments to be able to operate. And obviously, the undertaking was always that we will always compete only with legal operators.
Would your members go online if it was legal to do so?
Oh, certainly, that's one thing that they'll consider. In fact, it's been on the pipeline for a while. If you recall, just about 2007 or so, there was draft regulations published by the Department of Trade and Industry. We commented on that. We participated in that process, and actually we were hoping that at that stage it was going to be legalized, but it was not, unfortunately.
Okay, so you say the playing fields are uneven.
That's really the issue.
And that's the issue. You want the DTI to take stronger action. It is taking stronger but slow action.
Yeah.
What would you like to see happen?
To be honest, it's like we've given 2 options to government. We said, look, one, if you insist on keeping it illegal, please make sure that there's police action and these things do not happen, because they're unfair competition. But otherwise, the other option is obviously to legalize it and properly regulate it as you could.
Those of us who watch Hollywood movies have seen just how there can be connections to gangsterism within the gambling trade. Is there a fear of these unlicensed guys?
Sorry, is that it?
Is there a fear of the unlicensed operators? From a gangster perspective, from a...
Oh no, all the investigations we've done, and in fact, every time we pick up who it, or actually the owner is or the operator of these places, those people are linked to more than just one illegal activity. So it's not just about gambling. They'll be involved with other things that they shouldn't be involved with.
So these are part of big crime syndicates?
Correct. So it's not an isolated thing where people just operate. Because think about it, the mindset of someone that will open this type of a place is someone that has an illegal mentality in any event, because they know fully well that it's illegal, but they're taking their chances and the money is good.
So what is the reason, what is the best reason you can ascertain that police, local authorities don't shut these guys down? Is it a bribery issue? Is it a corruption issue?
I wouldn't want to reduce it to corruption. I think it's a question of we need political will. We need resources for the police, for law enforcement to be properly resourced to be able to deal with the problem, because the law is very clear. And in fact, what we are fortunate in the sense that even the Supreme Court of Appeal has actually looked at these laws and pronounced on them. So we know that it's illegal. So that legality cannot be an issue. It's really an issue of political will and police action, okay. and obviously resources to the law enforcement to be able to do their jobs.
You guys make lots of money. Your members make lots of money. Couldn't they fund the enforcement?
We certainly do. As it is now, the only reason why we have this action on these three is because we employ someone. We have someone on our payroll now who go in. Obviously, the biggest problem has been access to these premises. He's accessed quite a few of them. We wouldn't say the number, and obviously police action is continuing. So we're doing our bit. We obviously, as you know, pay quite a lot of taxes. As of March 2014, this industry alone, I'm not including other gambling operators, paid 4.5 billion in terms of taxes. So
that's because you make so much money. That's why. Advocate Themba Ngobese, we must leave it there. Advocate Themba Ngobese is the Chief Executive of the Casino Association of South Africa. Who wants to place a bet as to whether or not the situation will change in the next 12 months? I certainly wouldn't bet in favour of a dramatic change, but maybe I'm too cynical about this. But there's a private sector initiative to actually go and do the investigations, hand the dockets over to the investigating authorities and to get cases prosecuted. Is it going to solve the problem, or do we have a prohibition-style 1930s America where it just goes even deeper, darker underground in a more dangerous way? Well, we'll watch this story closely. That's it for tonight with Whitfield. Thank you for watching. There'll be more tonight, tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.